These are the cheapest active noise cancelling wireless earbuds that you can get for Oraimo. They cost you 89,000 and I've been using them for about 3 weeks now and I've got some thoughts. So here's a review of the Oraimo True Wireless Earbuds. So let's start with the specs. It's got Bluetooth 5.2, 10mm drivers. The battery capacity isn't quoted, but you get 5 hours with ANC on and 6.5 hours with ANC off for the earbuds alone. If you throw in the charging case, you get 10 hours with ANC on and 13.5 hours with ANC off. So the design, it's a very simple and understated look. It's just a squared off black puck, similar in size to the AirPods case, albeit a bit thicker. The actual buds themselves are short, flat stemmed with a couple of mics on each for active noise cancelling, and you get changeable ear tips. There's also an LED indicator as well as touch sensitive areas on the stem itself. The controls are split between the left and right earbuds, and I have to say the touch area is actually quite large and easy to use. So the left controls volume down with a single tap, a double tap will pause and play, and a triple tap will go to the previous track or the start of the current track. The right earbud, a single tap will increase the volume, a double tap will pause play again, and a triple tap will go to the next track. You can double tap either to answer a call and hang up, and hold for about a second to reject a call. You also control ANC and other modes using this touch sensitive system. So the left earbud, you tap and hold until you hear 2 beeps to cycle through the ANC modes. So that's on, transparency and off. And on the right earbud, you tap and hold until you hear 4 beeps to toggle game mode on and off. Although I found that just holding until you hear the appropriate number of beeps also works just fine. And some of these modes only work when both earbuds are paired with each other. So the ANC will only work when you have both earbuds connected to each other. And as you can tell, they packed a lot of controls into these gestures, and it's a lot and it takes some time to get used to. I still find myself pausing instead of skipping a track. There is no app support, unlike the FreePods and other earbuds that have app support. So you can control your ANC modes that way, which I think will be faster. Right, so how do they actually sound? Well, they sound like Oraimo headphones, which means that they're bass heavy with the highs and mids completely drowned out. The bass is strong, but it's not thumping as they advertise. It's more of a rumble, and like I said, you can barely hear the vocals and other instruments. Most people prefer this sound signature, and I guess they're just giving the people what they want anyways. If you're looking to change the EQ manually though, you're out of luck because of the lack of app support. You can change the EQ from your music app, but then when you switch headphones, they'll all sound bad. It's a lot more cumbersome than if there was native app support for these earbuds. And the lack of app support also means not only can't you cycle through your noise cancelling modes that way, it also makes it worse that the earbuds always restart with noise cancelling off. I guess this is a battery saving measure, but it would be nice for the earbuds to remember which noise cancelling mode you were in last and save that for the next time you open it up. One weird thing though is that game mode remains in the setting you left it on. So if it was on and you place the earbuds back in the case, it will stay on the next time you take them out to use the earbuds. As for performance, the earbuds being in ear already give you really good sound isolation. Just putting them in, a lot of the background noise just fades to a low volume. And if you're in a quiet environment and you turn on noise cancelling, you might think it's not working. It's not until you're in a loud environment that you notice how much more noise it actually cuts out. They quote 30 decibels of noise cancelling, which is honestly not that much given that we live in environments that might be even 80 decibels or louder these days. But it still does a tremendous job when you combine that with the passive isolation. It does perform particularly well with lower frequencies, so a rumble, a hum and stuff like that will get mostly removed. The higher pitched sounds, however, do stay, and the resulting effect is that you get sort of a super hearing where you can hear sounds that are normally masked by louder, lower frequency sounds. Transparency mode also works really well. It does a very good job at emulating the outside world. It's a bit jarring when you first turn it on because it just comes on at once, but when you take the earbuds out, there's very little difference in volume and sound quality versus your ears. But there is a problem with this. I don't know if it's because of the shape of the earbuds or the placement of the microphones, but whenever you're in a windy environment and you have any noise cancelling mode, so it's either on or in transparency, you will hear amplified wind noise. So imagine someone at the beach filming with their phone and the wind is blowing. That's the sort of noise you'll hear. And if you're on a border, it's even worse than that. It sounds more like a rocket on takeoff. So what I found is that you just need to turn that off and that wind noise becomes a muffled sound. Of course, this means that you don't get that extra bit of noise cancelling, but it's much better than listening to all that wind noise and having it completely drown out your music anyways. I did notice one thing though. When you take out, say, one earbud and you have noise cancelling on, that effect still works even with the second earbud out of your ear. Until you place it back in the case and shut the lid, you will still be hearing the noise cancelling effect in both ears, which is very trippy. Okay, so let's talk about game mode now. This is supposed to be a low latency mode that will help you in gaming. If you use Bluetooth headphones of any sort, you know that there's always a lag between what you see on screen and what you hear. And this is more pronounced in games usually. When watching a movie or video or anything, usually that effect is minimal. But in games, you definitely notice that lag. And I have to say, I was at first a bit skeptical about this because if you can have low latency at all times, why not just keep it on? And I still haven't found out why this is the case. But when you do turn it on, there's a noticeable difference between having it on and off. It shaves off, I'd say, a few milliseconds, maybe even up to a few tenths of a second. So this gives you an added advantage when playing mobile games. Listening to music in game mode, I found, has no noticeable effect on sound quality. So your music should sound exactly the same, which baffles me even more because why not just have this mode on all the time and doesn't actually hurt your battery life. And speaking of battery, the claimed 5 to 6.5 hours of use, well, while I haven't measured it in an endurance test, I have to say it falls right around the amount that they quoted. So I find myself charging the buds every 2 to 4 days, depending on if I'm using it very heavily or very lightly, and the number of hours I get. And can we also talk about how Bluetooth headphones are some of the only battery powered devices that give you the exact amount of battery life quoted by the manufacturer, in most cases at least. Alright, so apart from the downsides that I've mentioned so far, the wind noise, the latency in gaming, the bass heavy EQ, another downside is that there is no water resistance. So if you're looking at earbuds that you need to work out in, these aren't the ones. I do work out in them, but I tend not to sweat from my head, so it doesn't get moisture in it. I also notice sometimes that the volume between the earbuds are inconsistent. In my case, the right earbud is usually lower than the left. And so if you're in stereo mode, it sounds like the audio is somewhere, the balance is off. It's more to this side than this side. I find it quite annoying. Another bug is that sometimes when I place the earbuds back in their case, they still remain connected to my phone. And so when I go to play audio using the phone speaker, it's still connected to the earbuds. And you can actually hear your sound playing through the earbuds. So you have to open up the case, take them out, put them back in, and shut it to disconnect. And on the flip side, sometimes one earbud just refuses to come on. Say you pick the right earbud first and place it in your ear, and then you go to grab the left. For some reason, the left just not come on. So you have to take them both out, place them back in the case to reset the whole thing. It's a very annoying and intermittent bug. The next thing is calls. Despite the ENCO environmental noise cancelling, the experience when taking calls is hit or miss. I have a bunch of people that say that I'm inaudible and the other half seem to don't mind. So with all that in mind, should you buy these earbuds? If you're on a budget, or maybe you're looking to get some AirPods clones fakes, these are definitely better than those, both in sound quality, build quality, and overall experience. Plus, they come with ANC, and the ANC is actually quite good for the price. So I say yes, go ahead and buy these, especially for the noise cancelling. I'm yet to find another pair of earbuds on the market that will give you as much value as these. Anyway, that's been it for this video. Give it a thumbs up, get subscribed if you like this video, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post the next one.